I feel much better.
Hi everybody, this is Mary Drelizak, host of People Who Inspire. Today I have a very, very special guest to talk about life, to talk about fatherhood, to talk about the things that matter to all of us. His name is DJ Pryor. DJ's with me today. Hey DJ, how are you?
How you doing? I'm great, how are you?
I'm wonderful, so even better and more awesome because you're here. So thank you for that. So we know DJ in a couple different ways. First of all, Jabari and Kingston's dad, but also the world's favorite dad, dubbed so last year when he appeared in a commercial we're going to talk about in 1 second. But you're also a comedian, an actor, and a writer, and a speaker. Really making life better just because of who you are and that you're here. So many ways. So the video, let's talk about that. So the video you were in was a conversation with. So if we were Googling it, we're Googling what words? We're Googling to find that on YouTube.
I think you would type in, it's a couple different ways. I think Babbling Baby,
Yeah.
probably the most popular one.
Okay.
DJ Pryor and Son.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the most popular ones.
I know when I've Googled it, I don't even remember what I typed in, but every time I typed in something like that, it always came up. And because that video has been seen millions of times.
Yes.
It was a conversation that happened on the couch in your living room. Tell us about it. Tell us about it.
That day was a very special day because we were watching the grand finale of Empire. Now, every time I say that, I got to explain. My son liked the music from Empire. So, why was a kid watching Empire? He loves the music. So, we were watching the grand finale, and I was sitting on one couch. My wife was sitting on another. And we were talking about it. We were going back and forth. And he was looking at her. He was looking at me. And I was like, you get it, man? And he's like, yeah, he got it. So I said, well, get up here and tell me about it.
Oh, no, not this one. This is the grand finale of this. Okay, yeah, that's the last one. That's what I was wondering. I don't know what they're going to do next season because they did some stuff this time. Exactly what I was thinking. Oh, yeah. Right, don't bring that again. You know what I'm saying? Don't do the same stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I was thinking that. Yeah. Go somewhere else with that, but don't bring it here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's what I said. And then it was like, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, what in the world? But don't do that here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
He crossed his little feet, and when he did that, I said, "Oh yeah, he about to go in. He's about to give you something." And when he did that, if you watch the video, I'm trying not to break character. I'm trying to keep my face and stay in the character. And he's letting me speak. He's waiting, and when I get done, he says something, and then back and forth, and he kept going, and it grew into something. I told him, get the camera, and it was supposed to be something that was for our home videos, but it just grew into something, and she uploaded it, and it grew into something else, and I think we're 300, a little bit past 300 some million in now. So that's crazy.
My goodness, that is so crazy. I did not realize that. And I know shortly after that, celebrities like Will Smith shared it, and and so many things have happened in your life. Denny's came calling, saying, "Hey, we got a commercial for you." So tell us how your life changed. What happened after all this?
It went, as you can imagine. Number one, there's no privacy. There's no privacy after that. I knew we were paying because I would go outside and just going to the mailbox was like an ordeal. You go and they go like this. Your neighbor's just looking at you like, hey. So there's no more privacy. Everybody's watching. I had a neighbor that I've been a neighbor with for 5 years. I knew nothing about this person. When I walked outside, they called me by name. And it was just weird. Hey, DJ. And I was like, who is this person? And I had to realize, people know you now. And they're calling your kids by name, and they're, because they're following you on social media, and it went crazy. And we were leaving ever since the video went viral. My team and I think we might have been home 2 weeks from June on to the end of the year, we might have been home out of that whole 6 months span or so. We might have been home only 2 weeks because I start touring and talking about connections and, you know, connecting with your children and motivational speaking and doing stand-up comedy and all of them. So we might have been home only 2 weeks out of that. So life just, it was coming fast. There was no smooth transition. It was like, let's turn up the notch. We were gone.
And you didn't know what was probably going to happen from day to day, but just life kept happening. So did your family travel with you wherever you went?
They travel, some of them. Sometimes they do. My oldest is in school, so he wasn't able to do it as much. So I tried not to take them all the time. It's mostly just my team, my road team. They get in the car and we're going. Michelle, and we roll out. That's my road. Those are my road warriors. We have a great time on the road. We have a great time. We have an amazing time on the road.
That's awesome. What a journey. What an adventure for you from day one on that. Well, tell me, let's go back up a little bit. So here you are. This is all about you being a dad and being a really great dad. And how neat that we got to see you being a great dad in action. This isn't just something that happened at that moment. It's who you are. It's how you are as a parent. So tell me about your own childhood. What was your childhood experience like?
My childhood was a lot different than what I give to my kids. My mother had me when she was 13 years old. So naturally, you know, even saying that, you know, you didn't have, you know, she wasn't this adult taking care of this child. And my biological father was, I think, 14 at the time I was born. My grandparents raised me like their youngest. And so everything was kind of weird because having such a young mom, you know what I mean? I didn't have like my friends' moms could drive. My mom wasn't old enough to drive, you know what I mean? Like things like this, all the things. I make a joke in my stand-up saying we were pretty much the same age. We went to school together, you know what I mean? I just make jokes about it. But my mom, at one point, she got strung out on drugs, and it took over her life. It took over who she was. I couldn't even recognize this person. And so she was like a big sister more than like a mom, and she ran away. And when she would come back, my mom was physically abusive. She was verbal and physically. My biological dad, when he would come around, because he wanted nothing to do with me, when he would come around, he was more verbal. He did occasional physical, but more verbal. But my mother was verbal and physical. So I didn't see either of them unless abuse was taking place. So my mom was more, you know, when I say physical, I mean like hitting and that's how she was, like fighting me like I was somebody on the street. So I was hurt a lot of the times by the people that I wanted to cling to. And I, you know, as a child, I think when you're a child, you don't realize that these are the abusers, like they're hurting you because all you know is they're supposed to be a parent. So you're clinging to the people that are hurting you. And so I just was determined, like I remember telling myself as a kid, when I'm a parent, I'm going to be, you know, as a kid, you go, I'm going to be nice to my kids because my parents are mean. I'm going to be nice to my kids. And then as I got older, I got the understanding of the things I actually want to put in place to be a better parent. And my mom, when she did kind of take me on, she got married to this man who adopted me. And that's how I got the last name Pryor. And when she got strung out again, he said, you can leave, but I'm keeping him. And because he did that, he changed my life. But I wanted to be a great man as a father. And that's what my childhood was consist of.
That's amazing. And you could have gone a different direction with that. You could have lived through that abuse and found hate in your heart, but you had love in your heart, and it just seems like it just never, even that clinging to your mom and your
and we're great now. Me and my mother are great now. My mom's clean now. My biological father passed away a couple years ago, but even before he passed, you know what I mean, we became friends. Like I was determined that you can't make me hate you. You can't. I'm in control. You can't make me. I won't lose my soul hating you. So I won't even devote my time, my energy to it. In fact, I'll show you what I wanted by giving it to my kids. So my dad, I remember my dad saying to me one day, I see how good of a dad you are, man. And that's all you wanted from me. I never said this. My biological dad said this to me. He said, that's all you wanted from me. I never had to say those words. He just saw how I was a father to my kids and said, oh, That's the kind of dad you wanted me to be.
That is so. And they grew up, right? Well, your mom grew up, and then you had this wonderful. Ended up having this dad that really did take such good care of you. How did laughter get you through this?
You know, I always tell the story. You know, I had a teacher that helped me discover that this was my gift, because to her it was like, oh my gosh, sit down, be quiet, just okay. She even admitted, she said, DJ, you are funny, because she was trying to not laugh at me because the thing, my antics and everything I was doing. I stayed in the principal's office, and even the principal would be laughing like, okay, listen, come here, what happened? And he was like, okay, all right, well, look, come on, don't don't do that no more, get in, you know. But she told me, she said, DJ, you're funny, you're just funny at the wrong times. If you could just stay focused, I will give you the last 10 minutes of class and make the class laugh. And I never forgot that. And I rushed through my work, and she gave me the last 10 minutes. I rushed through my work. Miss Brown, Susan Brown, I'll never forget her, raised my hand, and she let me get up in front of the class, and I would make them laugh. And every day she would let me do that. And she found a formula to get me to focus, because at first I couldn't focus. But that was for her to get me to do that. Most kids wanted candy. They wanted this. They wanted this. They wanted the little star on their paper. I didn't want none of that. I just want to be able to tell my jokes. And she let me tell my joke. But she realized that that was my coping mechanism from what was going on at the house. I felt ignored. I wasn't seen. So she said, this is this boy's lifeline. If this is what's keeping his heart beating, if this is what's keeping him from going into depression, let this kid tell jokes. And she let me tell jokes, and it completely, from then I was like, this is going to be the rest of my life. This is going to be the rest of my life. And she changed my life. So comedy has always been that. Even now, through this situation right now, I've developed so much material. Because while to the naked eye, there's nothing funny, if you're a comic, we have this ability to be able to find a diamond in the rough, to find laughter in the midst of adversity and ugly stuff. And that's what comedy is born from a lot of ugly stuff. My stories on stage are hilarious, but they're from very dark places. You know what I mean? And so you get in the car and you go, that was so dark what he was talking about, but it was so hilarious, you know? So comedy's always been like my best friend. Like that's like my invisible buddy.
Now, you were born with it. There was no doubt that you were born to be a comedian. How old were you in Miss or Mrs. Brown's class?
Mrs. Brown. I was 5 or 6. I was little bitty.
Oh man.
I was little bitty, and everything I would do, all my routines had Michael Jackson in it some way. I would always do Michael Jackson moves every time, and she knew, and she saw me when I was about 19. I was actually coming in town to do a comedy show. I was headlining that weekend. And she didn't know I was doing stand-up, and she saw me, and we're in the middle of like a drugstore, and she just bust out crying, like, I mean, loud crying, because she was like, I remember you would come to school, you would be so hurt, and I didn't know, but I was hoping that that would have that impact on you, and it did, and it changed my life.
Wow, what a special teacher.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Would you say, and what a special gift? I really feel like you got some divine intervention laying over you, because you know, to be able to have that positivity in the midst of the pain and the darkness that they can go on, that's just a gift. That's just a gift.
Right.
Now it's a gift that you give to everybody else. So
yeah,
that's awesome. Thank you for that. Would you say that she, or who would you say is the most influential person in your life?
You know, it's so hard to say, because they all played so many intricate parts at different times. You know, it's like one handed me off to the other. And you know what I mean? So I don't know if I could narrow it down to one, because they all played this, you know, kind of say divine intervention, and they all played this role and then handed me off to the next person. It was like when that person's season was up in my life, it gave me over to the next great influential person. And I just took it and mixed them all together, and this is what you got.
Yeah. That's so neat, because when you think about that, you had a 13-year-old mom, right?
Right.
And it sounds like you had a whole bunch of parents when you think about that. A whole bunch of older people that took care of you.
Right.
So that is so cool. How have the experiences of your life made you a better dad?
Just pulling from everything that I wanted, every desire. I think as parents, some it works to the good and some it works to the bad. You think about everything you wanted as a child, and you give your kids, so everything, you know, you might be living through, oh, I wanted this kind of bed when I was a kid, so I get this kind of bed for my kids. You're living through your kids, and I think in a way, that little bitty boy is somewhere in me that wants to be rolling around on the floor with my dad, the way I roll around with my kids and play and joke with my kids. One time I woke my son up. It was in the middle of the night, and he was like, "What?" And I said, "Let's go get in the car and let's go get some ice cream." And he was like, "Dad, I ain't got no shoes on." I said, "Come on, let's get." And I picked him up and I threw him in the car. We went and got ice cream. I said, "Don't tell nobody." And that was just something that I don't know why I had this weird fantasy about my dad picking me up, throwing me in the car, and we were going to get ice cream with no shoes on, no nothing. But I did it, and it was great. And he was like, "Why did we just do this?" And then we got home, and I was like, "Okay, let's go to bed. See you later." And it was like 3 a.m. It was like fully with guys, but it was so much fun because I wanted him to have that memory of me and him doing that. And so I think pulling from everything that I wanted is what made me a better dad. And so it took them to do that stuff. I don't even regret that stuff that happened, even though it was painful. I'm glad it happened because it had to happen for me to be this parent. Or we might not be talking right now. If I had great, awesome, amazing parents growing up, I don't know if me and you would have been talking. Maybe I would have been a terrible parent.
You used to be regular DJ.
Right, regular guy, you know.
Yeah.
But it took me to have that experience to catapult me into my destiny.
That's so neat. And also being a husband, right?
Yeah.
So definitely, I'm sure you're an amazing husband too.
She doesn't like me much.
I am sure she would agree. I am sure of it. So tell me, what are you working on now?
Well, I'm working on a documentary called Detour, and it's basically about the height of all of this. You know, my career rising and everything's going crazy, and seeing me on all these shows, and then life hits, pandemic, protests. I just recently lost my grandfather, so all this stuff, and then, you know, life comes to my front door. So it's an amazing piece. It's a very vulnerable piece, but it's like a love letter to my fans to show them that how I discovered. I'm on this self-discovery of. It was all about the fame at first. It was all exciting, and then it became about using my platform for something bigger than me, and that's what the whole documentary is about.
Oh, I can't wait to see it.
Yes.
You know when it will be released?
It's going to be a summer release date. We don't know when, but it's sometime in the summer. Yeah,
I can't wait.
Yes.
I can't wait to see that.
Yeah.
That's
I got to make sure you get the exclusive. Yeah, you're going to get an invite to see the exclusive.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. So tell me, you know, on your Facebook page, you're described as a young man chasing your dreams. Would you say that you've caught them, or what are you chasing? What do you
I'm so creative. I'm so far from done. I'm just getting started. And that's crazy to say because I just celebrated 17 years of doing stand-up. I started at 15 years old. So 17 years to be only 31 years old. To be, you know, I'm in my own right, I'm a vet at doing stand-up. To be so young. And honestly, I only want a little bit more time. I just need a little bit more time to change the world with my gift. And then I want to retire. I want to retire and just live a normal life, go somewhere and continue to contribute as a regular citizen. I don't want to be in the spotlight. Honestly, at this point, my desire for the spotlight is for a completely different reason than it was a couple of years ago. It's just to change the world now. And after that, I really want to go, after I've contributed and done my part, I want to go sit down somewhere and then let my kids do it. And then after they have grandkids and I ain't going to have no teeth in my mouth and say, y'all go ahead and y'all be protest, you know. That's all I want. I just want to go live a normal, regular life. But to be 17 years in, if I can get me a couple more years, I'll be, you know, done some 20-some years, almost 30 years with stand-up. I'm retired. I'm done. And then we have a film, writing a film, actually dealing with fatherhood. And so you'll be seeing that pretty soon.
That's so exciting. That is so great. Well, let me tell you what, you have already changed the world. So even when the day comes when you retire and you're going to keep on changing the world, you have already done that. Because every single person that has seen the video is better for having seen it. So,
thank you so much.
Thank you. I know that we can find you and we can follow you on Instagram. You've got 137,000 fans. We can find you on YouTube, Twitter, everywhere as comedian DJ Pryor.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Okay. All
yes.
right. Well, DJ, thank you so much for changing our world, for changing our day, for making this moment happen, and for doing all that you do.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Well, that's people who inspire for today, thank you so much for being with us. And as DJ showed us, even in the midst of the most difficult things that can happen in our life, can come light and can come hope. And just the things that we can do to make life better for others can come from the deepest parts of our hearts and souls. So thank you for all that you do. And I hope that everybody has a blessing. Thank you.